Chat, let's watch Ben's video, shall we, boys? Let's go watch Ben J. Razim's video on the subbies, and then we'll get out of here.
So I think, look, you know, this is a team that obviously was your defending champion last year. I just mentioned, and I think a big thing that sort of helped this team out at the end of the season was finally figuring out the roles between Draza and Kenny, who was going to run a sub, who was going to be more of a flex player. They kind of decided on Ken being more of a second sub, Draza being more of kind of that third sub, flex, whatever you want to call it, and it really paid off for them last year, winning back-to-back events at the end of the season. Now, this year, so far, they got top 6 at the first event, and I think kind of the biggest deficiency for them, the initial event, was I think a little bit of a lack of slaying, and also, honestly, their search is a little bit underwhelming in Major 1, but, you know, I expect them to rebound. The team is really good. This team's very talented. This team's very professional. I think then we got to move to the next question of where I kind of rank these players from All-Star to Impact players. I know Kenny didn't really have the best of Major 1s. So this is what's
Chat, where do we put Ken here? I'm thinking if he put me in All-Star, Ken's got to be an All-Star.
Where he ended, I probably would put him like in the All-Star category because he was absolutely frying in last season. But I think he really kind of underwhelmed this major. On the flip side, I think Envoy is probably a little bit easier of a fit. I think he's
oh no, that shit was bad. I just watched the clip. There you go.
We saw the type of plays
he did Dylan first?
Team,
no way he put Dylan Impact. That's crazy, man.
Sliding that initially here. Ooh, it's gonna be really hard. It's gonna work with Ken right now. You know, let's put him in All-Star category. Let's give Ken a benefit of the doubt for this first event. Let's put him up there. We may slide him down depending on how things go. But you know, Ken was on the All-Star path last season. I don't think one bad major may get the player. I mean, we've seen players have bad starts.
If I'm an All-Star, chat, Ken gotta be an All-Star. That's period.
And see who we get.
We're spinning the wheel. If you don't get this, you gotta be so extra, man. Why don't you just
I made this wheel in about 3 seconds. All right, so that means we're talking about Kleenex.
All right, chat. We got Kleenex and Standy. Where are we putting Kleenex and Standy, chat? I'm thinking double impact players. Actually, I mean, they could be all-stars. They're very fucking good. Nah, I think Ben's gonna put him in impact.
So let's dive in on their sub players.
I'm just gonna skip through because I don't feel like listening to. I'm insane. I'm literally insane. All right, hold on. LAG.
We're gonna talk about Exceed and Joe Deceives. I don't.
Exceed and Joe Deceives. I don't even know how. I haven't even. I mean, I've scrimmed against him, but like that's all I got. So I have no idea how he's gonna rank these guys. I don't even know where Ben would put him.
Let's move on. All right, we spin it to the wheel.
Yeah. Okay. Didn't even rank him. That makes sense. Optic Texas. What? Shottzy and Seth. Oh, okay, never mind. I spoiled it for myself. I'm a fucking moron. Well, I would have put Seth in All-Star, and I would have put Ant in Impact.
Good. Ant was playing the majority last year. Honestly, didn't finish.
I spoiled it for myself. I'm a fucking moron.
Numbers this year. I think what's holding him back overall was just sort of a poor performance in search. But
Seth is for sure All-Star. That guy's playing crazy.
Impact players, people are gonna lose.
He's been fucking slime. Absolutely frying. Subliners, we got. Okay, I don't want to spoil. Subliners will do. Was it Kiz and Paco? Paco's an All-Star for sure. He should have Kiz an All-Star as well.
Looks good.
Look at me go. Look at me go. Look at me go. I'm insane. I'm nutty at this shit. Who's up next? Florida? What, Vic and Colt? I think he's going to put Vic in gap filler. And I think he's going to put Colt in... Actually, double gap fill. Double gap fill. Damn. My fault. I didn't know. I wasn't familiar with your work. That's... my sincerest apologies. My fucking bad, Ben. Jesus Christ. Damn. Holy shit. One half the league in All-Star? I mean, no. I think this is a good All-Star tier. I think you bring Ant to Impact, and I think the rest of this is good because Ken's fucking insane. So I think if Ant is in Impact, I think everything else is correct. I mean, bro, Paco and Kiz were literally having their way at Major 1, so having them anything up below All-Star makes no sense. Ravens, who is Ravens? Asim and Nasty, right? Actually, I don't know. Is it Nasty and Gapfill? I feel like Asim's got to be Impact for sure. Yeah, easy read. Seattle, Pred obviously All-Star, and Mac is Impact for sure. If he puts Mac in Gapfiller, I'll be flabbergasted. What is fucking wrong with you? This shit's easy. FaZe, double All-Stars. Ooh, spicy, Ben.
All right, we only got a couple of teams. We'll have to wheel is mixed spinning. Let's see which we get of the 4. It looks like we're going to talk about.
Okay, let's hear the logic.
Atlanta FaZe. And there's a fun one. It's the Simp and ABZ conversation. I think for Simp, it's very easy. He's always in the All-Star category. You know, last year he didn't put up flashy, crazy numbers. But you look at his overalls at the end of the season, he was up there with the best sub players. He's always going to be in that Impact kind of conversation for me. Me putting him in Impact player, I think would be crazy. The hardest part is where do we rank ABZ as a sub player? Because I think that he's got All-Star upside, but last year's numbers didn't support or wouldn't support me putting him in this category. And then you look at how he played at Major 1, and he was actually probably their best player in S&D. Like the play that he makes on Embassy, First Bloods, aggressive chows, shoulder shimmies, like he makes that team almost unplayable on that map with how good he is with the ARs backing him and him just making plays. I think the respawn was a little funky for him at Major 1, and I think definitely he struggled on the latter portions of that event. This one's tricky for me. I'm going to put Tyler, same thing with Envoy, in like this weird kind of, I don't have an edge thing between Impact and All-Star players. That's where I feel like those two players would almost go. But I think for now, that's where I'm going to play him. But he's got like...
So he just put Chris at All-Star with zero explanation whatsoever because his name is Simp. He just put him in All-Star. And then he put Tyler in Impact because he's insane at S&D and had a subpar for sure, Ben.
Like almost everybody in
what the fuck? Okay. Minnesota, Afro in All-Star, and he's going to put Ben in Gap Filler. I could literally let me do a fucking tier list, bro. Let me do a fucking tier list. This shit is easy, bro. This is what these people do, chat. That's wild. I can't believe this. This is crazy. All right, man. Who the fuck else? What's next? Boston, Reese, and Nero. This is actually tough. This one could be anywhere. Okay. Let's think logically, chat. If Reese and Nero are frying, either one of them, chances are that they will win. Because I said it last year. I thought that Reese and Nero were an incredibly underrated sub duo. I think that they were really good towards the tail end of the year, and like everyone kind of held that consensus as well. But I think that Nero and Reese are actually heavily underrated. With that being said, I feel like they deserve impact. Because, like I said, if Nero or Reese is just like flying around the map getting every timing in the world, then I feel like they just fucking win. So I feel like they deserve impact here. We're gonna see where Ben puts them.
A Major 1, but disappointing lane performance. Let's dive in. So it's very hard for me to figure out where we want to put Nero and Reese Vivid. They're not all-stars, and honestly, based on the way that they have played the last couple of events, I don't think they're impact players either. Look, this is actually not a bad sub duo, all things considered. I just think they've never, or we haven't seen the sub duo like hit next level as a team. Like, yeah, they've had some decent placings as of last year, but they never really had like signature land wins or made it to a grand final, and that's the next level we want them to get.
I think like
everybody.
I think you could, like, what he's saying is very true, and I think that you could like maybe put Nero in Gap Filler, but bro, there's no way that you're telling me that if Reese isn't frying, he's like 40 and 20 with most damage in the lobby. Like, Gap Filler for both of them is wild. I don't think that's fucking wild.
Actually, I was about to say other Mason, but
I think you could make the argument for Nero to be Gap Filler and Reese to be. I think Reese should be minimum impact. I'm a big Reese Vivid fan. I think that guy should be minimum impact, and I think having Nero and Gap Filler is okay. But like even then, I feel like Nero has been like incredibly underrated by everybody. Like when you play against Boston, like yeah, Wake was fucking insane at the beginning of this year, and Zinni's obviously gonna do his thing. But I think that like when you play against them, the two players that you feel the most on the map are Reese and Nero for
actually,
sure.
Afro had to make it to a finals, but he's definitely worthy of being in the All-Star category. He was just on that London team last year. So it's just a question of where do we want to put these guys category-wise. I am thinking we slot them both into.
I could agree with Nero being Gap Filler, but not Reese.
By definition.
Wait, who's left? Vegas? Was it Tej and ProLoot? Oh, he's gonna cook them. I actually think Tej has been good. Unironically, I think Tej is genuinely good at this game. I think Byron. He's probably going to put Byron and needs work, but no bullshit. I think Tej could be an impact player, but I feel like he's going to be Gap Filler and needs work. I feel like that's where they're going to go. Where did you put Tej? Wait, am I missing Tej? Okay, he put Byron in, oh wait, am I tweaking? Where the fuck did he put Tej? Did he not rank him yet?
The caliber of players above him, I think the Clark category. All right, so as it stands, here is our.
Okay, he put them both in needs work. Fuck, that's Tej. Wait, this is Tej? I guess, yeah, Byron doesn't look like... What the fuck? That doesn't look like Tej. That looks like fucking Nero and Austin and fucking Reese had a baby. All right, well, there you go. Needs work? Bro, Tej does not need work. Tej is, like, good, chat. Like, Tej is, like, actually good at this game. I think Byron could be in needs work, but Tej is minimum Gap Filler. At worst, Gap Filler. Tej is, like, unironically good at this game, I think. So, I mean... Only changes, I'm putting Ant in Impact because I think Seth is just like fucking slamming this year. Seth's been playing out of his mind. I don't think Ant is quite as good as Seth is right now at this game. And I think if Ant is playing like insanely well, then they just win because Seth has been relatively consistent. So I think for that reasoning, I would put Ant in Impact. I would put Mac in Impact. Having Mac as a fucking gap filler is comical because if Mac is frying, they just win. Pred is obviously an all-star. TJ I would bump up. Having both of these guys in needs work is fucking criminal behavior. I'm not going to lie. My bad, Florida. Tyler, I would probably put an all-star as well. I think that's probably it. I think that's the only changes I would make. That's not bad. It's overall, all things considered, not bad. I would bump Reese as well. Yeah, I would bump Reese to Impact. And I think actually, Mac, dude, it's tough to say because like Seattle is a weird dynamic. I feel like you know what you're gonna get out of Pred and Sib. Like Sib's gonna have the most damage in the lobby. Pred is like gonna do fucking Pred things. But I feel like Mac should be an Impact player because if Mac is playing well, again, the chances are they're winning. And like, does that make him a gap filler? I feel like that's like more of like an Impact statement. No. Envoy, yeah, I would bump Dill. Dude, my whole team's fucking gross. I'm not even gonna cap. Listen, my whole team's fucking good. I don't know. I'm not roasting Shottzy. Shut up, chat. I mean, I'm gonna end up in an attack rap video for this anyway, but whatever. I think Ant is good, but I just think Seth is better. So having them in the same tier, I don't agree with. But it's the same reason. Like, if Shottzy's playing super well and Seth is like being as consistent as he's been all year, then I think they win. And I think the same thing about Mac. Like I think Pred and Sib are like incredibly consistent. And when Mac is frying and like making those clutch plays, I think they should win 9 times out of 10. That's the only difference I make though. Overall, I would agree with Ben. I think overall is a W list for sure, Ben. Well done. Alrighty, boys. Mac's a gap filler because he said he fries alongside the 2 best players. They win. That's a gap filler. I could agree with that for sure. It makes sense. I don't know. I think players like Matt are hard to make arguments for because it's like if you're watching it, it's much more difficult than it is like playing against these guys. That's why I think tier lists and public perception of players is always drastically different. Opposed to like when I would rank players, like obviously I think differently than you guys would. So players like Mac who are, I don't know, it just feels like very oppressive. You know what I mean? Like when they're playing well, it feels very oppressive. But then again, like so does fucking everyone. If everyone's frying, then that's just how it feels. I don't know. There's a couple players on here that I would move, but you can make genuine cases for, I think. The weirdest one to me is him just like fucking riding Chris, putting him in all-star with zero logic whatsoever. Just put Simp all-star and then like Tyler's just an Impact. Well, like, I don't know. That doesn't make much sense to me. Whatever. Yeah, other than that, I think it's Dees. And Tej. He did Tej dirty. And double Florida duo. That's fucked. But he did Tej dirty.